Liam was 30, and by all outward measures, his life seemed perfect. He worked tirelessly as a marketing executive on the cusp of a long-awaited promotion. His beautiful home in the peaceful suburbs of New Jersey stood as a testament to his hard work. And at the heart of his life was Chloe, his 28-year-old wife. Chloe was more than just his partner. She was his soulmate, his confidant. They'd been married for 5 years, and in that time, Liam had never once questioned their bond. Chloe was everything Liam had ever wanted. Beautiful, intelligent, supportive. Her ambition was something Liam admired, and even though her work as a graphic designer often kept her late, he never begrudged her the time. They talked about having children, about growing old together in this perfect little life they had built. It seemed like nothing could ever come between them. But life, as it sometimes does, was hiding something in plain sight. A truth that would unravel everything Liam thought he knew. It started with something small, almost insignificant, a pair of wet jeans. One crisp autumn evening, Liam returned home after a draining 12-hour workday. The house was unusually quiet. Chloe was already in bed, the soft rise and fall of her breathing the only sound filling the empty space. As Liam made his way to the bathroom, ready to wash off the stress of the day, his gaze fell on something that made his stomach churn. Chloe's clothes strewn carelessly across the bathroom floor. That wasn't like her. Chloe was always meticulous, always neat. Among the disarray, a pair of jeans stood out, damp to the touch. Liam's mind raced. Had she spilled something on herself? But then it clicked. There had been no rain that day, and Chloe hadn't mentioned anything out of the ordinary. A chill ran down Liam's spine as he stared at the wet fabric. But he told himself it was nothing. An accident. A small oversight. He tossed the jeans into the laundry basket and went to bed. But sleep didn't come easily. The wet pants lingered in his mind, gnawing at him. A small seed of doubt had been planted. The next day, Liam found it hard to focus at work. His thoughts kept drifting back to the night before. Chloe had never given him a reason to doubt her, but lately there were other things that had seemed off. She'd been working later, sometimes returning home late in the night. Her phone was always locked now, something she hadn't done before. Her laughter at random texts, followed by a quick swipe to hide the screen, didn't sit well with him. Was he overthinking it? Was he just paranoid? Or was something wrong? That evening, Liam came home to find Chloe on the couch, absorbed in her phone. She looked up, offering him a smile. "Hey, how was your day?" Liam smiled back, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Busy," he replied, trying to mask the unease that was eating at him. Chloe mentioned something about turning in early. She was exhausted, but Liam's mind was already racing. That night, as Chloe went to bed, Liam remained on the couch, his gaze drifting toward her phone, now resting innocently on the cushion. He hesitated, the urge to look at it clawing at him. He trusted Chloe, but something inside him urged him to check. After what felt like an eternity, he picked up the phone and unlocked it. His heart pounded as his eyes scanned the messages. Then one name jumped out at him. Ben. Liam froze. Ben was a colleague of Chloe's, someone she mentioned casually in conversation. Liam had never thought much of it, but now, with the weight of everything else on his mind, the name made his stomach churn. The messages were shocking. What started as innocuous work talk had quickly spiraled into something far more intimate. Flirty comments, suggestive jokes, and plans to meet up outside of work. And then, there it was, a message from Ben. "I can't stop thinking about last night. Let's meet again tomorrow." The pieces fell into place. Chloe hadn't been working late. She'd been with Ben. The realization hit Liam like a freight train. His wife, the woman he had loved and trusted, had betrayed him. His anger bubbled up, but he didn't confront her. Not yet. His body trembled with fury and confusion, but he walked away. The weight of the betrayal too much to handle in the moment. The next day at work was a blur. Liam couldn't shake the image of those texts from his mind. His thoughts were consumed by the lies, the deception. By the time he returned home that night, he had made up his mind. He needed answers. He could no longer pretend everything was fine. Chloe was in the kitchen, humming as she prepared dinner, when Liam entered. She greeted him with her usual warm smile, but it was clear something was off. Liam didn't smile back. His jaw was set, his face cold. "Is everything okay?" she asked, her voice tinged with concern. Liam didn't answer. Instead, he reached into his pocket and pulled out her phone. He handed it to her. The screen opened to the damning conversation with Ben. Chloe's face drained of color as she took the phone, her hands shaking. "Who is Ben?" Liam's voice was cold, steady. Chloe looked at him, her mouth opening and closing as she searched for the right words. I didn't mean for it to happen," she whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. "It started out as nothing, just a few harmless texts, but it turned into something more." Liam's heart shattered, but he kept his composure. "How long?" he asked. "How long have you been lying to me?" "A few months," she admitted, her voice breaking. "But it didn't mean anything, Liam. I never stopped loving you." Liam shook his head, his blood boiling. "No, Chloe, you don't get to say that. You were sneaking around behind my back while I worked my ass off, and you're telling me it didn't mean anything." Chloe's sobs were gut-wrenching, but Liam didn't flinch. He had made his decision. "We're done," he said, his voice calm but firm. Chloe's eyes widened in disbelief. "Liam, please, don't say that. We can fix this. Just give me another chance." But Liam had already walked out of the room, leaving Chloe sobbing on the kitchen floor. The following days were a blur of pain, but also quiet resolution. Liam met with a lawyer, moved his savings to a separate account, and began the process of divorce. He knew what he had to do. He couldn't stay with someone who had betrayed him like this. A week later, Chloe came home to an empty house. Her things were packed neatly in boxes by the door. A note was taped to the wall. "We're done. Don't contact me." The next few months were painful, but Liam began to heal. He threw himself into his work, reconnected with friends, and found solace in the life he was rebuilding. As the weeks passed, the memories of Chloe began to fade, replaced by a new sense of peace. And then one day, as Liam sat in a cafe, scrolling through Reddit, he stumbled upon a post. The title, "I regret having an affair with my co-worker's wife." His breath caught in his throat. It was Ben confessing his own regret. Reading it, Liam realized that Chloe hadn't just betrayed him. She had manipulated Ben, making him believe she was trapped in a loveless marriage, all while playing both men. But now both Liam and Ben had broken free of her web of lies. And in that moment, Liam knew he wasn't the fool in this story. He was the one who had walked away, the one who had found his peace. As the sun set over the city skyline, Liam sat on his balcony, taking a deep breath. He had learned a painful but important lesson. Not every truth is spoken, but sometimes those unspoken truths set you free.